Hi, I hope you're well today. Today, I want to give you some motivation and inspiration by comparing what it's like when you go out on a Friday evening sober compared to what it's like when you go out drinking, or certainly what it was like for me. So I went out this Friday evening just gone. I drove about an hour and a half away to meet up with some old colleagues of mine, old work colleagues. And I met them in a hotel spa type place. And we had arranged this for a few months. It'd been arranged for quite a while. We'd arranged to meet up, we'd arranged to chill by the pool, and we'd arranged to have dinner there together. And that's exactly what we did. And I drove home. I left probably, I don't know, about 11ish. Half 11ish, and I didn't get to bed till about 1 in the morning. Now, here's the thing. When I was drinking, if you'd have told me I could go out on a Friday evening and meet up with some friends, have a laugh, enjoy myself, have a really, really good evening, and then go home and get a really good sleep and wake up feeling fresh on the Saturday morning, I wouldn't have believed you. I wouldn't have believed that was possible for me, because at the time, my life revolved around alcohol. But this Friday evening, that's exactly what happened. As I was driving, like I say, about an hour and a half's drive, as I was driving towards the event, it was a beautiful sunny evening. The sun was kind of starting to set, and the roof on the car was down. I had my CDs on, I was listening to music. I was really enjoying the me time that I was getting in the car as I was driving there. And not only that, but I was really looking forward to seeing my old colleagues. I was anticipating what a great time we were going to be having. And I was just really excited. I was really excited to see them because I hadn't seen them for so long. Now, if I'd have been drinking, or when this kind of thing used to happen when I was drinking, it was a very different story. I would only look forward to the element of the evening that involved drink. So I wouldn't really be looking forward to spending that time with my colleagues or friends. What I'd be really looking forward to was an excuse to indulge my drinking or to get drunk. So it's a very different way of approaching the evening when you're sober. You're actually kind of approaching it from the point of view of actually just valuing the people and the conversation themselves rather than thinking about the drinking and valuing the drinking. So I got there, I met up with my friends this Friday. We had a fantastic time. We all sat around the pool, we shared lots of stories, we had a laugh, we caught up with each other, we went for a swim, we spent some time in the steam room, in the sauna. We just generally chilled and relaxed. And it was so good to catch up with them. These are people that I love very dearly, that were at one time in my life very close to me, and I don't get to see them very often. So I really enjoyed the time that I spent with them. And after we'd been chilling around the poolside and relaxing, we all went for a meal together. And the meal itself wasn't great. There were a few issues with the service and with the food itself. But nonetheless, we had a fantastic time, and we even had a laugh about everything that was going wrong that evening. And we left quite late, and at no point did I wish I was drinking. At no point did I desire a drink. At no point did I experience any urge to drink. I was simply lost in the moment, enjoying the moment and enjoying the conversation and the people around me. It was about, like I say, quite late when I left there, and I didn't get home till about 1 in the morning. And of course I had fresh head. I was firing on all cylinders. I was able to drive home without worrying about being over the limit. Sorry, there's some birds, pigeons flapping around in the tree up there making a really strange noise, and I just had to check what that was. So it was a very, very enjoyable, fulfilling and positive experience, even to the point of driving home, smiling to myself about the stories that we'd told and the laughs that we'd shared. And then I was able to get into bed and get a good night's sleep and wake up fresh-headed on the Saturday, ready to get on with some work. Now, in my drinking days, an evening like that would have gone very differently. Even though I had to drive to get there, I would have wanted to drink, because the way my brain used to work at the time was I couldn't possibly enjoy myself. I couldn't possibly relax if I didn't have a drink in my hand, if I wasn't drinking. Not only that, but I would have experienced some anxiety and panic attacks because I was travelling away from home. Because it was a social occasion, I used to get anxiety and panic attacks on social occasions, and if I was travelling from home, I would have had high levels of anxiety and even panic attacks for an event like this in the past. And my way of dealing with that, the medicine that I would use to help me cope with that, would be alcohol. So of course I'd need to have that first drink with the evening meal to relax me, to calm me, to alleviate the anxiety, and to start enjoying myself. So I would have spent that whole time by the pool in conversation with the others, kind of putting on an act, kind of pretending that I was enjoying myself, pretending that I was one of them, pretending that I was normal, and pretending that I wasn't counting the minutes until we could sit down with the meal and have that first drink. So half my attention would have been on counting the hours and thinking about when I could start drinking, and only half my attention would have been going on to the conversations and the people around me. So that would have been a very noticeable difference. And then, of course, when I started drinking, because I knew I had an hour and a half's drive home, I would have had to limit the amount that I was drinking. And so it would have been a weird situation. This used to happen to me a lot. In my mind, I'd be thinking that the drink was going to rescue me, the drink was going to make me feel better. But the reality was that it wasn't. It just wasn't doing that. Because what was actually happening was I was drinking and getting no fulfillment from it because I wasn't drinking enough for me. And by limiting what I could drink, because I had to drive home, I'd be fighting with myself, fighting those urges to drink more, to get drunk. So the whole evening would have been strained for me. It would have been an evening of having to restrain myself, having to limit myself, having to monitor the amount I was drinking, having to pretend on the surface that I was really relaxed and enjoying everything, but inwardly being really tense and anxious and strained because I wasn't able to drink as much as I wanted to. And not only that, but I would have been counting down the hours and the minutes before I could leave so that I could get home and really indulge. And by really indulge, I mean crack open a bottle of wine as soon as I got in, sit in front of the TV, and then just get drunk and quietly pass out on the sofa. Now, when I look back at this now, it seems crazy to me that this seemed desirable. But that's because so much time has elapsed between then and now. And to me, that just seems completely undesirable now. I wouldn't want that in my life anymore. But at the time when I was drinking, this was the way my unconscious mind was programmed. It was the way I was working. I would be counting down the hours and the minutes till I could get home and properly indulge. And so my full attention, again, wouldn't have been on the conversation and the people around me. I would have left early. So that I could get home and do that. But also, although I would have limited the amount I was drinking, I would have restricted myself, I still would have had a couple of glasses of wine with my meal. And I still would have been over the legal drink driving limit. So I was kind of losing every which way. If I'd have got pulled over, I would have been over the limit. But equally, I hadn't drunk enough to make myself feel good. So it was a lose-lose situation. And I would have got home, like I say, I would have drunk a bottle of wine, at least a bottle of wine. I would have gone to bed eventually. Perhaps I'd have woken up at 2, 3 in the morning on the sofa, take myself to bed. I would have got a really awful night's sleep, really poor quality sleep. Saturday would have been a write-off. I'd have stayed in bed probably at least half of the day, if not into the afternoon on Saturday, to recover. And then, of course, on Saturday evening, I would have needed hair of the dog to make myself feel better. And so I wouldn't have got half of the super productive things that I did get done on Saturday. I did half a day's work. I did loads of cooking and shopping and cleaning and preparing stuff. I did all sorts of things on Saturday. None of that would have happened in my drinking days. So comparing my Friday night sober, a Friday night social event sober, to how my Friday night social events used to be when I was drinking, there's no comparison. This Friday just gone, I've still got clear memories of it. It's still bringing a smile to my face. When I think back to the conversations and the laughs we had, it's still bringing a smile to my face. I'm still laughing about it now. And I'm still enjoying it. And we've already made a date for the next one, and I'm really looking forward to the next one. So just a little bit of motivation and inspiration for you. Even if you're in the throes of an unhealthy relationship with alcohol and you think that enjoying social events or Friday night sober is impossible for you, I used to think exactly the same. I used to feel exactly the same, and it's simply not true. If it's possible for me, it's also possible for you too. If you want to stay in touch and stay up to date with my weekly videos and updates, you can subscribe to my channel. I'll look forward to catching up with you very soon, but in the meantime, let's go get sober together.